Hello and welcome to Thursdays with Annette. I'm really looking forward to making a particular recipe for you today because I thought about it. My gosh, it's getting cold, and what would be a great, hearty, fabulous dinner for you on these cold nights? Well, we're delving into my new book, More Cooking 102, and making an old classic, braised steak and onion. Yeah, that's right. I can remember as a kid having it all the time with my mum because it's such an easy recipe. But I thought, let's do a healthy spin on it, and that's what I've done. But before we get into the ingredients, look, I want to ask you, are you worried about gaining weight over winter? Because it can be a real challenge. Well, my 6-week weight loss challenge, it actually starts on Monday. And if you're already a member, your week 1 menu plan went live today. So you can log in and grab the delicious menus and do your grocery shopping over the weekend. So you're ready for Monday. But if you haven't joined yet, it's not too late. Instead of gaining weight over winter, let me show you how to lose it instead. So go to my website, simplytoogood.com.au/membership and find out all about it. And I'll see you there on Monday. It's going to be fabulous. Okay, so braised steak and onion. It's actually one of the meals in this winter challenge as well. So what we need is the oyster blade steak. It's really important. Don't use rump or any of those. It's the oyster blade steak because that's the good stewing one. So you want 300 grams. Now this serves 2, okay? So if you want to make it for a family of 4 or 6, then just double or triple it. No worries. It's easy to do it on this recipe. So we want 300 grams of oyster blade steak. I've got 2 tablespoons of plain flour. I've got an onion here. It's just a small onion's all you need. 1 1/4 cups of water. Now, where we get the bang and flavour is a teaspoon of garlic, some Worcestershire sauce, some no added salt tomato paste. I'm going to put some bay leaves in because that's such a good thing in a stew. I've got some beef stock powder, and we're going to put a little bit of the salt reduced French onion soup mix, and that really does help lift the flavour. I've also got some corn flour, a bit of water to go in, and cooking spray. And we're using a smaller, my medium-sized saucepan for this because you need to have one with a lid because it cooks for quite a while because we want it to just fall into pieces when you're eating it. All right, so what we're going to do first is I'm going to do the onion. Now the onion is, this is a bit big, so I'm not going to use all of it because it'll be just too much onion, but you cut the onion in quarters. And I'm just going to take one of them out. Now I then cut it into like 1 centimetre chunks because you really want to know that there's onion in there because as it stews it can sort of go really soft, so you don't want it too thin. So there's my onion done. See, that's the perfect amount. Basically you just have to chop up the onion and the blade steak, the oyster blade steak, and that's all you have to do for this recipe. I know, it's fabulous. So we're going to dice the oyster blade steak. I might cut that down the middle. And this is the one I prefer to use when I'm stewing. I'd be curious to know, what do you use when you're making a stew? Because when I've talked to a few people, they go, oyster blade steak? I didn't know about that. And a friend of mine, actually, her husband bought rump steak. That's why I said in the beginning. And she makes this every week. She's obsessed with it. And she said it just wasn't right with the rump. And that's why I said don't use the rump. It's just better for frying and keeping it fresh. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put the chunks of the blade steak in here, and that's where you put the flour over it. So we're going to coat it with the flour. Because it will help when I'm cooking it off, and it actually makes it a little bit of a thicker sauce because of the flour in it. But I really want you to get in with that flour and coat the steak. That's it. And what we're going to do then is brown it. So let me turn on my cooktop. Good spray. Be generous with your spray for this. And I'm just going to, if there's any flour left in the bottom, don't waste it. We will put it in because we need it. This is such a great winter recipe, isn't it? And I love it. It's out of the More Cooking 102, and it's really one of those really easy recipes. You can't go wrong with it. I don't think anyway, because basically it's the time it takes to cook that's the secret here. Right, so let's put that in. And we're just going to brown it off. All right, so I've got a little bit of flour left, not much. It's in. I'm done with this. I'll wash my hands. I just think braised steak, I know there's all these modern things you can make and MasterChef will tell you all these things, but I still love the oldies and the goodies, and braised steak and onion has to be in that category for sure. So I'm just going to use my tongs to turn it around because I want to seal it off and brown it. Now, when you look at the different ingredients you've got here, I find that I have all this normally in my pantry or my fridge. And so therefore, you know, if I've got some braised steak in the freezer, I can make this if we ever get the hankering for it. And as I said, if you were making this for 4 or 6, super easy to double or triple the ingredients. You would obviously do it in a bigger pot. But it has to have a lid, okay, because it's going to cook for a while. So this is one of those ones, not hard to do, but it's not done super quick. Because this steak, if you just ate it like it is now, is tough. It's not like rump steak. All right, so let's put in the onion. Cook that off. Let's add in a teaspoon of garlic. Don't have your pan too hot because you might find it'll burn with the flour. Oh, yum. Oh. That's it, that's sealing off really nicely now. So I'm just going to turn this down because I don't want it, because it's about a slow cook. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add in 1 1/4 cup of water. Oh. We're going to put in a teaspoon of beef stock powder. So it's got lots of fantastic flavours, which is what you want, don't you? Let's do 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. Give your bottle a bit of a shake too before you use it, if it's been sitting in the cupboard for a while. 2 teaspoons. We want 2 teaspoons of tomato paste, and that's the no added salt, of course. And you'll see that the amounts are quite small because we're really only doing a recipe for 2, aren't we? Let me just give this a bit of a stir. All right. Let's now put in the salt-reduced French onion. It's 1.5 tablespoons. 1 1/2. Let's just move my spoon down. 3 bay leaves. That's what we want as well. You do remove the bay leaves when you serve it up. So, I mean, if you don't care, the people can pull it out themselves. But 1, 2, let's get a bigger one, 3. Right, now what we're doing is it's all boiling, all those flavours are in now, and I'm going to turn it right down to a slow boil. All right, so get it to a slow boil. That's it. And the lid goes on. Now we go off and maybe make dessert or get your veggies ready, but we need to come back in an hour. That's right, it takes an hour. Just check it every now and then, make sure it's just nicely bubbling away and stir it so that it doesn't stick on the bottom. You just want it a slow boil. an hour. All right, so here we go, braised steak and onion. Let's go back and I'll finish it off with you shortly. So an hour has passed. My stew has been doing beautiful things, cooking away slowly. And I just think the key is, like, I had it on 3. You know, my thing goes to 10. I had it on 3 for my slow boil, and that's the key here, to really make sure that it's not boiling too rapidly. All right, so let's take the lid off, and oh my gosh, this is amazing. I'm going to just thicken it a little bit more, which is what you do and follow the recipe. You get 2 teaspoons of water and 2 teaspoons of corn flour, because you really want that to be like a gravy, don't you? Got my little whisk. And I mean, it's such an easy recipe. I hope you give it a try, because I think on these cold nights, I don't think there's anything better. All right, in it goes. There we are. Oh my gosh, dinner is done. Now, actually, you know, one of the things I love about this recipe is that it's so easy, and I put it into the menu plan on this winter challenge. So if you're on the program, get ready to enjoy this along in a few weeks. Okay, so look, what I did is I wanted to show you how someone on the mentoring program would be eating their dinner with this. They would have their certain amount of potato, and I've mashed it, and then it's half the plate, so it's 2 cups of vegetables. See, this is fantastic. This is all really healthy and going to be fantastic for you. And now, with this beautiful braised steak and onion, I will serve up half. Let's do that. Oh, look at this. Yum! I mean, who knew weight loss could be so deliciously healthy? Look, it's got lots of sauce, because I know you want it. There we go. How about that? The braised steak and onion out of More Cooking 102. Now, if you want to win this fabulous book, it's easy. All you have to do is like, share, and then in the comments, you're going to write hashtag simply with a Y, too good. If you put that in, I'll pick 3 people. You'll be notified if you're a winner, and I'll also put the in the feed on the Facebook page on the Thursday morning before the next cooking show who are the winners, so you can say congratulations to them. All right, so now next week's show is going to be one of those great ones for the young and the old. It's my Mars bar slice, light Mars bar slice. It is such a yum. It's not, you know, one of those things that's got lots of fibre and things like that, but every now and then it's good, and especially if you're making the full fat one. This is my makeover. So let's cook that next week. Don't forget, mentoring program, simplytoogood.com.au/membership. Go in, check it all out. As I said, this could be your dinner one night soon. And yes, this helps you lose weight. How good is that? Anyway, go to simplytoogood.com.au for any more recipes or tips. And I'll catch you next week. And, well, this is called living, isn't it?